thinking only though of yourselves. We're streaming to the world. Wait, I'm gonna leave and come back, and you're gonna all go crazy. That's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second edition of the world's biggest stage competition, or really the 9th edition of the Getting to Carnegie competition, if the lovely people at Carnegie Hall hadn't been so lovely. But we're not going to talk about that. We have so much to cover, so much ground, and I hope I will not get too lost in all the small details. So let me tell you about our flight over from Brussels. It was lovely. Don't ever fly Brussels Airlines. That's all I'll say. They are not one of our sponsors tonight. But it is great to see so many of you here. And of course, I wanted to mention, as you already know, you're here, but this is being streamed live, which means that it is going out to the entire world. So I really hope you came with the right person. You may be troubling. The weather outside, of course, is very chilly. As I was walking up, I realized that. And it's testament to what amazing patrons of the art of drinking champagne you are. But speaking of which, I wanted to thank our champagne sponsor, Michel Gonod. And how is the champagne? Good? Yes? Enjoying it? And Pierre, one of the oldest champagne companies in this room, for sure. In France, of course. And the importer is Pier 71 Wines, and they have been so generous to donate all the champagne. And they have also given us a Magnum bottle, which will go to we'll talk about that Magnum bottle later. Now, to today's program, which is going to include a lot of things. Now, we're here for the competition, which is 4 singers, 4 finalists that are going to sing a song cycle that I wrote for you. But we are going to start with a piece for piano and cello, which was the piece that I wrote for the last competition. And it's called The Time Between Moments. And it was commissioned by someone who flew in all the way from Georgia, a wonderful, amazing person, Dan Coleman, who's here, and he commissioned the piece. And it was a very romantic thing that he did, because he commissioned it for his wife's birthday, and you'll all hear it, and then you'll be able to say whether it was done out of love or spite. You'll be able to be the judges of that. And of course, to do the cello sonata, we need a cellist, and we have a cellist. Susie Fisher, please come to... No. She has been hiding this talent for many years. No, we have a wonderful cellist, which I think she's somewhere. Gayun, are you available? Or are we cutting into your busy... She will be right here. In the meantime, I did want to thank Susie and Chip Fisher for opening up their amazing homes to us once again. And there are many people to thank. But I would like to thank you guys, because you look very smart, and you're all here. You braved the weather, and you didn't care that you're going to be live streamed and everybody's going to be liking or disliking you on Facebook. They don't have a dislike button yet, do they? They need to get one. And I also wanted to thank our amazing partner, the Violin Channel, with Jeffrey John Davies, who has done so much for us and is streaming us for free. But we will thank more people later. In the meantime, I would like to introduce Gayun Kim, our amazing cellist. Yes. Now, the interesting thing about today's performance is the proximity of the people to the performers. If they're too close, just poke them with the bow. Or kick them. Yes, that's the spirit. So this is a piece in 4 movements. Lasts 3 hours, and good luck. Shall we tune? Sure. That will be the tuning. Will be edited out of the live stream. I wanted to say that what's happening tonight actually is you're going to hear an entire evening of music that you've never heard before in your life. And the only thing probably more difficult than hearing music for the first time is hearing poetry. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I have a poem for you. And upon rereading the poem, the young boy was very pleased indeed. Yet everyone he showed it to told him the same. You need to change the poem to fit the world. But the boy was not to be convinced. So instead, he set out to change the world to fit the poem. And I thank you all for being here, for trying to change the world to fit the poem. now the last move.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jae-young. And thank you for listening. How are you feeling? You're still with it? Yes? You need more champagne? Yes. Sorry. We ran out. But the good news is that there's going to be a short change of the microphone. during which everybody must remain completely quiet for 10 seconds. Starting now. Right? And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. You didn't really need to remain completely quiet, but it was a great experiment, right? You did very well. You did very well. You passed.
That competition was for the soul, not for love and hate.
That competition was for the soul. Composition was for the soul, not for love or spite. Interesting. Interesting. Could we have this man removed, ladies and gentlemen? Now, we are going to move to the second phase of the evening, what you really all came for, other than the champagne, which is the competition. So we do have 4 amazing singers out of the many who applied to this competition. Now, the idea of this competition, at its heart, is a competition that is judged not by a professional jury. It is judged by the audience, because at the end of the day, the people that go to hear the concerts are not the critics and not the judges, but it's you, the audience. So I thought it'd be a great idea to have a competition that is judged by the audience and see what the audience likes. So you will be listening to these 4 singers. They're going to be premiering this song cycle that I wrote called Love, War, and Other Viruses. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the songs in a second. But I just wanted to stress that fact that, of course, these 4 singers have amazing voices. But who would you brave the weather, brave the parking, brave the New York cops to go out to a concert hall and listen to? Okay? Perhaps it's an interesting question. Yes. Yes. Susie was just telling me that the lasagna is almost ready, so hopefully you're hungry. Special Fisher recipe.
One of the competitors.
What, yes. And what did I want to say? I'm losing my train. So this competition initially was just judged by the audience that was in the concert hall. Now, because of COVID, we had to change things. We moved online. The violin channel was amazing. They helped us stream everything. And we realized, since our goal of this non-for-profit that we are, is to make classical music more accessible. The high art form, bring it to everybody, because actually it is something that everybody could love if they wanted to listen to it. So we realized that, oddly enough, COVID, which seemed to shut everything down, for us it gave us a tremendous boost, because suddenly our audience expanded exponentially. So what we've decided to do here is a bit of a hybrid. So we have a small audience, but we are streaming it to the violin channel alone has about 500,000 members. So you're a small minority of the audience that will be voting. But of course your vote counts very much because, and this is true, since we are streaming it live and we have cameras that are facing you as well, that's not a joke actually, so please keep the yawning to a minimum. And, but they will be panning to the audience, so if you're looking interested when the first singer is singing, that will be good for the first singer. So hopefully you do that for all of them. And now, of course, we have the audience makes up half the vote. The other half of the vote is made up of previous winners of the competition. So I thought that was an interesting idea. Of course, none of them are here really present, but they're all going to listen because they're all in different countries around the world doing concerts and things, and they've all agreed to be part of the jury. Now you can vote for this. The live stream is happening right now, but you can vote for a week. So the winner will not be announced tonight. The winner will be announced next Sunday. And we have all previous winners except one celebrity judge, and this year's celebrity judge is a young lady named Olga Makarina, and she's a singer at the Met. So she agreed also to be part of this. So it's a bit of a different kind of thing. So very briefly about the songs. Now with the songs, I thought it would be an interesting thing, since I wrote these 8 songs, the song cycle, I thought it'd be nice to dedicate each one of these songs to a different person who has been, in a way, important in my life. And not my family. It's like, the family that you find along the road. And so these first 2 songs, the first one is a song called Song Without Words, Mostly. And I have dedicated this song to Liz Boylan, who is someone who is never without words. Mostly. So that's kind of what that song is about. And then the second song is a song that I wrote very much when we were locked down in Paris and everything seemed to have stopped. And the song is called Again. And when I envisioned the song, I imagined like a Freddie Mercury kind of voice. He wasn't available, unfortunately. We have one of the finalists to sing it. And this song I have dedicated to 2 people who are very special in my life and are here also, Lou and Arlene Sarapo. And they have been a family to me in the United States. So these are the first 2 songs. Somebody's trying to make a feeble attempt at applause. Sorry, Lou and Arlene. You really get the big applause. And without further ado, please welcome Anastasiia. Anastasiia, you seem to have grown several inches in the past hour. Anastasiia, which means resurrection in Greek, as my wife reminds me every day. Don't know what that means, really. So we're going to start with Song Without Words?
Yes, please.
All right. vision of my competition. Because you have now gotten to know Anastasiia as a singer, I thought it would be nice to say hello to Anastasiia and have a small chat with Anastasiia. How are you doing?
Doing great,
Anastasiia?
doing great.
Are you feeling resurrected?
Yes, I do.
Where did you come from today?
I live in Philadelphia, but originally I was born in St. Petersburg, Russia. So all around here is basically where I grew up, in a museum.
And remember, don't forget to take one complimentary piece of artwork on your way out.
I chose mine.
So you came from Philadelphia. You're here, and tell us something about you that we wouldn't know from hearing you sing, or from your bio. What would we not? Oh, you did tell me something. Anastasiia, because I asked her, I said, what can we talk about with the audience that will be interesting? She said, well, I'm really, really into boards. And initially I understood boys, so I was like, wow, that's strange. But she's really into boards. Does anybody understand what that means? No?
Yes, longboards, skateboards, snowboarding, wakeboarding. I am obsessed. And I have a little brother who is only 10 years old. And he's so amazing at longboards. So all summer long, he came here to visit me. We just longboarded all around Philadelphia.
Really?
Yeah.
But you didn't longboard up to the city, did you?
I tried.
Because I hear the
these
toll.
These are too high.
I hear there's a reduced toll fare for longboards.
You're right.
You can go through the Holland Tunnel, I believe, for free. Excellent. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is our first contestant, Anastasiia, who sang Song Without Words mostly, and again. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, on to our next two songs. Now, this next song is called Fly Me to the Moon, and I know everybody's like, oh, I love that song. It's not that song. I mean, otherwise I'd probably be sued. But we do have a lawyer, so that's okay. So this is Fly Me to the Moon, a different version. And this one is dedicated to someone who's not here, but is a tremendous patron of the arts, and made a tremendous donation to our cause. I'm not gonna mention how much, but it is like the person who makes the biggest donation will get the magnum bottle of champagne, Blanc de Blanc, apparently valued at thousands of dollars. It's somewhere, right? It's in the living room? Yeah. So she made a very big donation, so she might get the bottle. But you seem very anxious to fight. I know you. And that is Pam Safar. And the second song is called Soldier Boy, and it is a song that I wrote when the whole conflict with Ukraine started. And initially it was a song for Ukraine. And then I thought, this is not the first time that we've done something so stupid in the world. So I thought, let's just make it a song about war and what is it good for? War and the stupidity of war. And it's called Soldier Boy. And I have dedicated it to Susie and Chip Fisher. So, by the way, I didn't tell anybody really that I dedicated these songs to them. So they have no idea what the songs sound like. And Susie is probably going to hate this song and cut the competition short. Speaking of, on that note, I would like to introduce our second contestant, the wonderful Morgan. Please, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Morgan.
Hello! My name is Morgan, and this is Fly Me to the Moon and Soldier Boy by Julian.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you say this one, the first one, it's more jazzy, right?
Yeah, sure.
And the second one is more...
Not jazzy.
Not jazzy. These are technical terms, of course.
That's the two kinds of music in the world, jazzy and not jazzy.
Yeah. Also people.
Yeah, exactly. Seatbelts made of dried up wishes, landings hard as deep-fried kisses, traded in the dark. Fly me to New York. Buildings tall and streets delicious, nowhere eye your face, more miss than walking in that crowd. Days chase nights like I your shadow. Fly me to the moon. Place the brightest star beside me. Maybe it will almost feel like one of your half smiles. Or when laughing at our sorrows, tickle me or tickle you till life feels real. Sleep works daily for the living, travel all day long. Days chase nights like I your shadow, even when you're rich. One day you will find yourself, but maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow or the day that everything came crashing down upon your head. Why did you let go? Why did you stop feeling what it is to let a butterfly undress you with her wings? Days chase nights like I your shadow, travel all day long. Sleep works daily for the living, even when you're rich. One day you will find yourself alone with just this song. Then you room a chair a day, a year just like the one you're traveling through right here, right now. Then you'll hear a laugh behind you, followed by the storm only such butterflies can bring. You'll be there just like my shadow, with me every day. And at night I'll tuck you under the cover of my mind. You will be my secret lucky charm. Me and the world, as I wait to say my goodbyes. You and the world, watching on from behind all the lies that we tell ourselves in the dark. The graves of my brothers will mark the truth that we know in our hearts. Humanity's falling apart as I wait for the order to kill yet again. How can I knowingly shoot at my brothers, my friend? Look at me. Don't you know me from summers before? This is insane. I refuse to take part anymore. But they've got the bombs and the will to make us a part of the kill. For them, we're just part of a game. They don't even ask us our name. For them, we're just something to take no more. Here, as I watch, while a country gets turned in chains. My heart will not have beaten vain.
Morgan, ladies and gentlemen, Morgan. I know the subject matter isn't.
It's a little heavy, but you know,
It's
it's like
a little-
jazzy and not jazzy.
It's yeah, jazzy and not jazzy.
Decidedly not jazzy.
A little heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but important to remember. And how can we forget?
Yeah.
But moving on to slightly less heavy topics. Morgan, how are you doing?
I'm doing splendid.
Yes, I
I
love
came
that.
to you from 5 blocks away to the east, a little bit less far than Philadelphia. I could walk here.
Yes.
So it's so convenient.
You did walk, right?
I did walk.
You did walk.
It's a blustery day, but I made it.
And I love your shirt.
Thank you. It's got little strawberries on it. It's quite nice, right?
And you hail from
I hail from
Ridgewood,
New
Jersey.
Yes.
We have some people from Ridgewood, New Jersey.
No way! Oh my
Yes.
God!
We have a Ridgewood contingent.
No way!
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. So I was speaking with Morgan earlier, and Morgan apparently is someone who does a lot of different
Things.
activities and things. You
Music
want to
and
name a
noise
few that you're
Sure.
that you do?
Well, my parents are watching right now. I'm sure they're going to love this because every year for the holidays, I would ask for a different instrument. And for the past 3 years, in chronological order, we have a didgeridoo from Australia.
Lovely.
We have a saz, which is a kind of plucked Turkish string instrument. It's very fun. It's kind of like a banjo. And speaking of that, for this last year, I got a banjo, which I've been enthusiastically teaching myself how to play. And it's a lot of fun.
And I believe we have all 3 of these instruments with us.
Yes, they're
Yes,
right here.
let's take them out of
No.
Oh, that's another show tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Susie doesn't know about that. Being in the bedroom. So that's amazing, and I get the impression that Morgan is he can do anything that he sets his mind to.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah,
I'd like
yeah.
to think so.
It's an impressive thing.
Thank
The
you very much.
didgeridoo, and yeah. So anyway, I would like to hear one more round of applause for Morgan. Thank you very much. And now we are going to move on to our third contestant of the evening. Third contestant is going to sing 2 songs which are even more depressing. We'll be distributing knives at the end and rope. Those in favor of tablets instead can see there are a few doctors, I believe, in the front row. It's a very medical evening. You're all doctors, right? The front row is all doctors.
Yes.
Anybody have any questions about their health? I'm sure they'd love to answer them. You know, that's what doctors love to do when they're not working. So, or so I hear, at least in the States. Because, you know, healthcare is so cheap here. So, anyway, moving on. So the first one is called Kill to Be Free. This is, it's kind of the story of someone who's in a relationship and they don't want to be in the relationship and they're pondering whether they should just remain in the relationship or not. Yeah, it's basically the story of all of our lives. I wrote this song before I got married, Electra, but I reworked it. I reworked the ending. So anyway, this is "Kill to Be Free," and it's a bit of a strange one. And then there's a one that's slightly more uplifting, which I think that most of you can relate with. It's called "I Know You Better Than You," and that's probably something that couples say to each other a lot, much to the hatred of the other one that's hearing it. And I think there's very little that people like to hear more than "I know you better than you." Like I know you. Like, yeah. The response is overwhelming. Ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, And that's the second song. Who are these dedicated to? Yes, you're dying to know, I can see. So also people that you don't know. So it's always wonderful to go with people you don't know. So the first one, Kill to Be Free, is dedicated to a guy called R.D. Zimmerman. And R.D. is actually a best-selling author. He wrote a book called The Kitchen Boy about the Russian Revolution told from the point of view of a kitchen boy who's in the Romanov household. It's quite an interesting book, bestseller. And I was introduced to him because I was supposed to write the music for the movie that they were making of The Kitchen Boy that was going to star Brad Pitt and Helen Bonham Carter or something like that. No, this is all not true. But no, I was supposed to write the music for the movie. It did not star Brad Pitt. But anyway, I didn't because the movie didn't come out yet. So anyway, and the second song is dedicated to somebody that perhaps you've heard about indirectly. How many of you have heard of the Water Island Music Festival? Again, the response is overwhelming. So every year for the past 18 years, I've gone to a place called Water Island, and I have, along with the dedicee of this piece, created a festival there, which would very much, as in this living room, in his living room, it would take place every year. And it was a very, very special part of my life. And then you know what he did? He went ahead and sold the house. How could you sell the house? So the Water Island Festival. Here he is, Alex Randall. Please, Alex Randall, we were interested in trying to find the connection because Alex went to Princeton and then he did his doctorate in anthropology with Margaret Mead, who many of you don't know clearly, but she's a very famous anthropologist who's no longer with us. But Susie is, her father was a teacher at Princeton, and I believe he failed you, right? It's a dark story. It relates to Kill to Be Free.
But I did tell Susie to draw the line if you get to 13 musicians and 3 nights. All right, just be prepared for Julian. If it gets to 13 and 3 nights, just say that's enough.
That's when you cut off. Yes. So anyway, so the song for you, Alex, which you didn't know, it's called "I Know You Better Than You."
Oh,
okay. All right. So without further ado, I would like to invite to the stage the wonderful Sage, ladies and gentlemen. Sage. So we're gonna kill first.
Yeah.
To be free.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll know each other.
Then we'll be free to sing the next song.
This is also jazzy, right?
Well, I hope.
It is cold in here, I can feel the floor, trying not to make me fall down. There is wind and rain, there is gentle pain, knocking hard upon the are within my mind here alone. Upon this floor we made the world sing to us, finding it so out of tune, till we leapt from it like a bride upon the groom, walking down the aisle, just another gangplank of a day. It is getting late, pigeons park and gate, shutting down so all the world can go home. This amusement park closes before dark, and the sun here has never set. But if you ask me, half the world would kill to be free. But if you ask me, half the world would kill to be free. Could I have a volunteer? Anyone?
A guy, perhaps. Mister. Yes.
Do you want me out here?
You can just stand right
What's
here.
your name? Harish. All right.
All right.
You're a doctor, right?
Yeah.
All right.
This song is for you.
So at least you're insured.
I know you better than you. You know me better than me. And this is why we are together, you see. But if you started to cry, I still would stop and ask why. And that is why we are together, you see. I know you better than you. You know me better than me. And this is why we are together, you see. I know that you'll do the same if ever I were in pain. And that is why we are together, you see. But if someday you meet someone who knows you better than me, I would rebel, walk from heaven to hell, till I had you once more in my arms. You might think that I'm a stalker, just 'cause I hacked your account. But if you knew how much I care for you, I am sure that you would understand. 'Cause I know you better than you. You know me better than me. And this is why we are together, you see. And when your time comes to die, I'll join without asking why. 'Cause dead or alive, you'll never get rid of me. Thank you so much.
Stage, ladies and gentlemen. Sage. How are you feeling, Sage? I understand you have been in the city for a couple of days now.
Yes,
You're
couple of
cooking
days.
up some stuff here.
Yes, I was performing with APAP. I'm a part of a dance company. I'm not in the company as a dancer, although I do dance, but I actually compose music for them and was singing live, and so we were showcasing some work for our show in May.
So APAP, for those of you who do not know it, is the biggest conference. It happens once a year nationally in New York over, I think, 5 days. And basically it unites artists, managers, presenters, and especially the presenters are there to see the artists and to book them for their shows. So Sage wrote a whole it was a 30-minute
Yes,
with 9 dancers and Sage was singing. And it's going to be a full 1.5 hour
in May, yes.
production.
Everybody
in May.
come to
You're
Philadelphia.
all invited. If you mention Sage's name, tickets are twice as expensive. I just want you to know. But she stands by this. By this. So thank you, Sage.
Thank you.
And amazing job. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We're almost done. We'll almost have you out of here and back on the champagne. Don't worry. I know you've been dry for a while. So we have the last 2 songs, the last finalist. And again, these songs are a bit depressing. Sorry to end on a low note. That's not true. So the first song is a song called Barbara. Now, my wife asked me, who is Barbara? After I wrote the song Barbara. I said, no, I just needed that number of syllables, and Electra didn't work. Electora. I guess I could have done Electora. Didn't sound good either. So I went with Barbara. Anyway, I have dedicated this song to none other than our getting to Carnegie posthumous, currently the world's biggest stage, lawyer, Ty. Because Ty Ty, come on out here. Ty, I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the light, but he does have a halo right around his head for putting up with me and constant phone calls and constant legal questions. And as we were discussing earlier, we're saying, will they? This is unrelated. Will they get rid of the horses in Central Park South? You know, and there's a big, is that true? There's a big thing about this now? They're going to get rid of them, they're not going to get rid of them. And Ty was saying, well, actually, those horses, that horse buggy ride cost like $150. He was saying
30 minutes.
For 30 minutes. And so I said, well, gee, that's funny that you're saying that. You're a lawyer. Like, you know, that's like 5 minutes for you. And he said, well, it's funny that you say that, because I've charged you $0 per hour. So I thought that was a very, very true statement.
Yeah.
And so I have dedicated this song, Barbara, to you.
Excellent.
And you're going to sing it, I believe. No.
Well,
We'll leave that to the
I'm
final.
slightly tone deaf,
You're slightly toned down.
so I think one of the performers would
Okay.
be.
Well, that's excellent. Well, but anyway.
Thank you all for
We've got everything. Thank you, Ty.
Thank you all for coming.
And the last song is called "It's Gonna Be Loud." We should have told the neighbors about this song because it requires everybody to stomp their feet really hard. And no, it doesn't. But it is, in my vision, this is happening at Yankee Stadium. It's going to be loud, okay, with a full band behind. But here in the Fisher household, the band was not allowed to come, and I have dedicated this song to someone who has really, he's here tonight, and he's really changed the nature of our organization. His name is Jeffrey John Davies, and he is the creator of the Violin Channel. And he's an incredible person. If you have a conversation with him, he doesn't like the spotlight, and he's going to kill me if he does that. Somebody told me recently, I said, he's this amazing, ingenious, brilliant guy. And they're like, and why is he in music then? Which I thought was a very clever statement. But he has really, with the Violin Channel, kind of changed the nature. So the Violin Channel is the biggest source of classical music news. Now you may wonder, what news could there possibly be in classical music? They've all been dead 400 years. Which is a good point. But apparently there is news, and there are 500,000 members, and it's growing rapidly. So anyway, the second song is dedicated to somebody that I cannot speak highly enough. And to sing these two songs for us, we have our last finalist from Venezuela, ladies and gentlemen, currently living in Washington Heights. Please welcome Maria. Go crazy. Go crazy. Maria. Okay. Stadium. Supposed to have some closing remarks organized, but what we normally do at this point is we hand out the ballots so that you can choose who you think was, I don't know if we want to say the best singer, but at least the one that you would most enjoy coming to hear in a performance. Now, they were all four amazing, and I would like to call all four of them out here. If we can please have Sage, Morgan, Anastasiia, awesome. We have all the things. Oh, we're not doing that yet. So yeah, if we can start handing out the ballot cards. Now, what I wanted to do during this very brief moment is basically what we normally do. We normally have chairs. I wonder if we could we produce 4 chairs quickly? Here we go. We usually have chairs because this is the. I couldn't read that. We have. What'd you say? They thought of everything. They thought of it. So the.
We're no longer dry.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you're right. Thank you.
So raise your hand because I have 2 fellows serving.
Oh, thank you. So sorry because I just realized, Maria, can you come up 1 second? I just realized in my haste and excitement and confusion, I never had my brief interview with Maria. So if we can maybe hold off, I'm sorry to be standing right in front of you. But why don't you, let's do, is it okay if we move the microphone a little bit? We're going to move the microphone here. Here we go. So Maria was telling me a very interesting tale. Maria is from Venezuela. She was telling me, because I told her, this song, it's going to be loud. Think of a stadium. And she told me that when she was in high school, what were you part of when you were in high school?
A black metal band.
A black metal band.
Oh my goodness.
Wristband. No, I have no idea even what a black. Does anybody know what a black metal band is? Heavy metal?
Yes.
Yes?
A little bit heavier than heavy metal.
It's heavier than heavy metal. It's like plutonium in the world. And how was that experience?
I loved it. I grew up in a slum, so we had very little resources when I was growing up, and the metal kids were usually the ones that were not getting in trouble. And so the band used to rehearse in the roof of my house. My dad would let us do that. And then I ended up touring, actually, with my mom. In a bus, she took us to another state in Venezuela to make sure that we were all safe, and that we would do that. But
So you would tour with your mom?
Yeah, my mom came with us to make sure we were safe.
Well, that's great. Because this evening, the cellist came with her mom, because she thought that it might be unsafe here on Fifth Avenue. No, but we are very lucky to have the mom of the wonderful Gayun. So that's so funny. You would go on tour with the mom. And was she loved, the mom?
My mom was always loved, and she actually was like, well, this is very loud, my ears hurt, but I support you.
You support. Well, that's wonderful. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
And now you can sit down. Now, so during this time, I'm sorry that I didn't kind of coordinate exactly right. The audience usually would be voting, and we would get a chance to do like almost a bit of a talk show with the contestants. So if anybody has any questions that they would like to ask, now would be a great time. To the young lady in the hat, yes.
What's the name of it if I want to look at this?
So the question, I just want to repeat so everybody could hear, what is the production that Sage is doing? It's a Sweeney Todd, I believe. No.
Actually, I have been in that production.
Oh.
I'm so glad you asked because I realized I forgot to name the company, which is Koresh Dance Company, based in Philadelphia. It's an Israeli company, and the production we're doing is called Masquerade. And it's very kind of Twilight Zone cabaret. There's live music, my singing, as well as pre-recorded music.
And you play the melodica.
Yes, I shakily play the melodica as well. That's a work in
So you have some competition there, Morgan.
Yeah, I gotta bust out my melodic.
You got to bust out your melodica skills.
So it'll be the first weekend in May, and you will be entertained.
You have a question, Alex?
What are we doing with the 4 little tabs across the top that aren't?
You just need, to vote. You just need to circle or put an X next to the one that you don't like. No, I mean, next to the one that is your preference, okay? The perforations, just rip across the top with one motion. Sack. Yeah. We went a little perforation crazy. So I know you're all very busy voting, but Alex, I believe you had a question, because you always have questions. So it's impossible that you don't have a question. You want to know where they all went to school. You know what? I'm not going to tell you where they went to school, because I don't want to influence the voting based on where people went to school, because sometimes it's a very, very influencing factor. They all went to Harvard.
Yes.
So they all win, yes. Well, I think Harvard is having a bit of trouble. Yes?
If they could all email us your performances, I know that we would all love to come, and my friends would love to come, my tenants' friends would love to come. And if you just keep us
That's very...
in your loop, we would love to come. Thank you.
Who would we email those to?
That's great.
Maybe the list is
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
That's a very interesting question. Lou perhaps has a question for us. No, Lou doesn't have a question. Lou has an answer. He's an engineer, so they have answers, not questions. This front row of the... Okay, let me ask a question. How was the experience of being part of the performance?
I'm in love with her.
Okay.
It says that so when he's got his wife sitting.
Yes. Yes. Watch out, those champagne glasses are quite hard when they hit the skull. And they make a beautiful sound, you know.
I may be ready to kill.
You may be ready to kill. Okay. Well, that's great. Well, let me ask you a question, since nobody's asking you questions. How was the experience of learning and singing something that you had never heard or seen before? And if we could have just a little bit of silence. I know that it's hard because you're passing around the drinks. How was that experience of learning to sing something you had never seen before and most likely will never see again? Anastasiia.
Well, it was very thrilling to me because I did something that I've never done. I've never used my pop voice to
that's interesting.
sing songs.
Something that Anastasiia has never done. She's never used her pop voice because
in a performance
you're a classically trained opera singer.
But my biggest mentor, Michael Eliason, once told, and it's not his phrase, I think it's Marilyn Monroe said, it's better to be absolutely ridiculous than absolutely boring. And in this case, I use that as a mantra to, perform these songs.
That's very cool. Thank you. Thank you. And how about Morgan? Sure.
Well, it was fascinating to me because the first line of the Fly Me to the Moon, like the vocal line, it's kind of like, takes a lot of twists and turns. Like it's kind of irregular, it goes up and it goes down. And I found that there weren't a lot of repeating patterns in the vocal line when I was learning it. And I was sitting at the piano and banging my head against a wall, trying to get it to stick in my brain. And I just couldn't do it. And then I thought, like, okay, how did Julian write this? How could it have come about? And then I sat down and I played the piano part. And suddenly, everything kind of locked into place. And I saw that once the piano part was kind of added to the music, everything was contextualized. It made a lot more sense. I just had to look at it from a different point of view. And then suddenly it all kind of locked in.
Well, that's cool.
So it was a fascinating experience because I was a pianist before I started singing. My grandmother, who taught piano in Ridgewood for many years, was my first piano teacher. And
they say never learn from a relative.
Well, it ended up pretty good. So she taught me, and I had never had to use my piano chops for singing that much until I had to learn this piece of Julian's. And it was a lovely little experiment to kind of see how the voice and the piano fit together in one song.
Thank you, Morgan. Sage, Sage, how was it for you?
Contrasting to Morgan's experience, I learned the first piece, it's Cold in Here, Kill to Be Free, and I could sing it perfectly a cappella. I have all the intervals written in, I know what's going, because it's a little strange, it's in some moments.
Well,
like,
it
okay,
varies between, it's major, minor, and it's weird.
It goes to places I wouldn't expect, and then we come to rehearse it yesterday, and it's like I don't know it anymore, because I haven't sung, the piano really threw me off, but it was, it ended up okay.
It ended up more than okay.
It was fabulous.
It was fabulous. And Maria, how was it for you?
Well, I do tons of new music, actually. I perform tons of new works.
So like 21st century...
21st century music.
Contemporary, living composers.
Living composers and some abstract, especially I work a lot on Latin American music and women composers. So what I thought about your music is that it's nothing like I've ever seen before. I thought it's very different, very refreshing. Your storytelling is always very surprising. So I had to learn it very quickly. So,
yes, that's true.
Yeah, so I was like, I really enjoyed the ride. I just allowed myself to get into it and learn it, and I just loved it.
Wonderful.
You help us.
Well, thank you to all four of you. And has the webmaster has spoken?
No.
The webmaster says, oh yes. I would like to thank our webmaster, Mark Faust, who's here, I believe, with his parents. Yes, who are also doctors. And without Mark is at Johns Hopkins, and Mark would occasionally receive messages from me like, "Help! Help! I need to change the website is down, Mark." And he'd be like, "Don't worry, we just need to do this and the IP address and tweak this." So Mark has been instrumental. No pun intended there, in our organization, and we would like to thank him publicly and wish him well on his journey. Also a pianist, and he's at Johns Hopkins, where I studied, and that's how I support myself. I'm a thoracic surgeon in Columbia Presbyterian. This is just, my love here. But anyway, thank you, Mark. And what do I want to say? Since we're all here, and especially for those of you who are listening at home. Now, of course, this whole thing with so many moving parts doesn't just happen. And we did want to make a quick request for your help, because it doesn't happen. Actually, the people that participate all do it just out of love of music and patronage of the arts. But the winners win monetary prizes, and there are many different things that need to be factored in. And the whole thing is run just by your generosity. And so we can't thank you enough for any donations that you make tonight or that you make online if you're listening at home. You just go to theworldsbiggeststage.com/donate to Julian's new apartment. theworldsbiggeststage.com/donate. And obviously, we're a 501c3, and Ty can tell you more about that, but you don't want to hear about that. And I did want to propose, does everybody have champagne? Is there any more champagne left? I wanted to propose one last final toast. If we all have a glass of champagne, I did want to propose.
Swap it out. Okay.
Oh, the singers don't have champagne. The singers could use. The singers. They're done singing, now they can drink away. I think 1 and 4 straws for them. Yes. I believe that's how we do it here.
Going.
Oh, the performers. These are big glasses of champagne. These are, wow. Okay. And I would just like to, I know I've thanked a variety of people individually, and there are just so many people to thank, and all of you who are here, and all of you who are listening at home, you are the ones that we do all of this for, and hopefully our dream of making classical music something that is appealing to the world, and especially young people, as we can see by the people reunited here tonight. It is something that we are definitely pushing for. Nobody's really laughing at that. You took me seriously. You're young at heart. You're very young. So anyway, I cheer. What do? You cheer? No, you don't cheer. I toast. I cheer. I'm a heavy drinker, as you can see. I'm used to doing this a lot. I toast you all, and my speech was toast. So thank you for coming, and cheers.
Thank you.
And I think that brings us to the conclusion. The lasagna must be ready by now. What time is it? Is it time to?
6:10. Yes, 6:10.
6:10. Yes, we've exceeded by about 40 minutes, but it's it's network TV. No, because it's supposed to end at 5:30. So network TV, they don't care about things like that, right? Are you still streaming us, Jeffrey? Jeffrey said I'm cutting you off. He's called us in. So I think that there's if anybody does want to make a donation.
To get the Magnum bottle.
To get the Magnum bottle, if anybody does want to make a donation, I believe we have people on hand. We have wonderful Jonathan and Arlene. Yes. What do I need to talk about? Oh yes, I did want to say that the Magnum bottle. I did talk about the Magnum bottle.
You didn't talk about the Gonet family.
Oh, I did not talk about the Gonet family. The Gonet family are some of the foremost champagne producers in France. And I was, through a friend of mine actually, Sebastian, who was supposed to be here, who's a wonderful sommelier, he put me in touch with Rebecca from Pier 71 Wines. And I told her, I said, we're having this very special event, by invitation only, at the Fifth Avenue apartment of the Fishers. And as soon as she heard Avery Fisher, she's like, yes, I want in on that. I want to get Gonet, because they work very closely with this family. They've worked with them for many, many years. And they're the ones that import their wines to the United States. Yeah. And so I personally don't even understand how it happens, but she was very excited and she wanted to be part of this. Unfortunately, none of them could be here. Neither the Michel Gonet and nobody from the family really, and nor Rebecca, who's the owner, I believe, of Pier 71 Wines, and who I've been in touch with. But they sent us all this champagne. Has it been good, the champagne? Yes. I'm tasting it for the first time, and already I'm becoming even less articulate than before, if possible. And then she said, it would be nice, perhaps, if we sent you also a Magnum bottle. And I was like, sure. And so I thought it would be nice, the person who donates the most gets the Magnum bottle. Do we have the Magnum bottle? I'd love to show them the Magnum bottle. It's a 2002 Magnum bottle, and I know that means a lot to you. Or rather, it means a lot to Susie that I tell you that it's a 2002 bottle. Now, in 2002, can anybody remember what they were doing? No, but you were 21 years younger. So it was a lot. It felt a lot better getting out of bed, I'm sure. In 2002. Yes. How's the champagne?
Great. It was wonderful.
Morgan said life was wonderful in 2002. I was 3. Kind of puts stuff into perspective. Yeah. You guys were all like in preschool at that point. So that's pretty cool. That's
maybe we can sell it back to the Gonet family since they have none.
Susie, very, very clever. Maybe we can sell it back to the Gonet family. Susie should be up here doing the comedy. So this is my glass. I'm putting it on top of that. So this is the bottle, and apparently. Rebecca was telling me that the Gonet family, so this apparently really, 2002 was a very, very important year. The champagne was amazing that year. Now, the Gonet family, they don't have any more of these bottles. And Pier 71 has, I think, just a few left. And so they sent us one. And that was quite amazingly generous of them. So anyway, hopefully one of you will take this home with you tonight. And I think that's all from us here at the fort, at Fort Fisher. Oh yes, we do have one encore for you, ladies and gentlemen. We want to end the evening. We're going to end the evening. Could the following people come to the desk? Because we need to unzip we need your zip code, sorry. Joan McNaughton. Joan McNaughton. Alex Randall. Barack Obama, no. Pamela Awad. Pamela Awad. Okay. All right. We would like to end the evening with music because music is what it's all about. And we thought that after having heard so many pieces that you had never heard before, it might be nice to hear something that you all know and love. Can we actually? You'll do it. Yes. And this is the right order, right? Yes. Okay. Okay. So, and I asked the four finalists literally this morning. I was like, do you think you can sing Belle Nuit? And they said, yes, of course we can sing Belle Nuit. So here you go, ladies and gentlemen. We're ending the evening with some music by Offenbach.